Hey, my name's Keith, and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to teach you all about some of the lessons in the first couple of chapters in the book of Ezra. This is really important. So, in the book of Ezra, it's about rebuilding. It's about God restoring because, God really didn't have to do any of that. He didn't. Personally, if I was God, no one can ever be like God, but if I could have an option to make a decision, for example, Moses had the option. God's like, I'm going to destroy everything. I would have went with, let's just destroy everything and then start over with new and better people. But you know what? Moses said, do not destroy people because the other nations will think he just gave up on them. And God did not want to give up on his children, so he kept pursuing his children, and he had his children pursue him back. Now, does it mean you wait for God to pursue you for you to be able to make a move towards God? No, because you'll end up in hell with your ancestors going into hell too if you wait for that point. So let's not wait for that point. So the first book, it's not the first book of Ezra. I call it the first book of Ezra, but because it's 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel. So we're in the book of Ezra. It was first book of Chronicles, second book of Chronicles. This book is really about rebuilding, and the way God specifically... I have to pause the videos when people start revving their engines for attention. If the person had more love from God, they wouldn't be showing stuff off like that, because that's not abundance. Now, and I'm keeping it real. Jesus doesn't like that. Again. Okay. Hopefully you guys don't hear any of this. Now, with the first and second book of Ezra, not first... They're doing it again. 1 second. Okay, much better. They're gone. They're gone. Now, in the book of Ezra, it's about rebuilding. We're in chapter 3. Yeah, we're doing a chapter a day because so many lessons are just missed from the Bible. People, I don't know how anyone could just read the Bible and just miss a whole page, because I'll ask absolutely anyone a question, they won't be able to answer it. So if you ask me a question about it, I'll probably miss a detail or two, even though I read the Bible 10 times in that particular chapter. What does that say? It means there's so much in one verse, in one paragraph, one page of the Bible, that you can't just scroll through it as fast as you can. It's not a race, okay? It's not a race to get to heaven. It's not. Your love with Jesus is not a race. Now, Ezra's about rebuilding. We see them set up an altar. And it's so ironic because the third chapter of the book of Ezra, it's just a detail you can read past. Why is everyone crying and screaming in happiness? So people are weeping in sorrow, and people are, like, half the people are like mourning and crying, and the crying is filling the skies, and other people are filling the skies with happy cheers, and it's like one of the weirdest things to read. But if you actually do some research behind it, it's like, okay, the elders who saw the Temple of Solomon are like, okay, we have a little Kitty Meow Meow temple, we have a little tiny temple, little tiny temple going on here compared to our former glory. So it's kind of like if you were the number one top billionaire and you had to restart from scratch and you made your first $1 million. It kind of hurts because you used to have $1 billion. It might be $1 million, but that's the exact vibration of what they felt back then. Now, back then, that's down to the T, the exact vibration. I hear angels having whole conversations over... how many other... okay, I'm not going to ask, but... I'm hearing an angel next to my car saying, I have no problem with that, but... And then they're just talking about something completely different. Unless it's relevant, but... okay, we'll talk about that later, but... basically, in the book of Ezra, it's about rebuilding. Now, how can you apply this to your life? It's because a lot of the stuff that humans do does not work for them, and what humans do find out that works for them, they don't really know how to keep. That is the most dangerous thing in the world. That's why people have success for a year straight and then change something that they don't know that they're changing and then not see success. But if they have the Lord will show them, okay, this is what you re-practice to have the most success. If you ever stop doing it again, then you'll stop seeing success. I'll give you a secret. I've asked a group of people who listen to subconscious audios. For example, they'll listen to like a wealth and abundance audio or a happiness and health audio, and they'll see amazing results, but they don't think the audio is doing anything anymore, and they stop, and their life goes to complete garbage. Why? It's because they're surrounded by people with limiting garbage beliefs, and they're empathing. Basically, that's their subconscious audio now. So you have to have a setting over. You have to have noise overriding other noise, or you're just going to be consumed by noise in general. So the same thing what happened with the tribes of Israel. Like, everyone was making noise, and it was not of God. Everyone was serving things outside of God. Everyone made it okay. Like, there was no. You have to be the difference. Like, I mean, you have to be the difference. God made a difference with the king of Persia. And, that's like, if you're stomach, basically, you can even empath the king of Persia in your stomach. It's like this doesn't really match. The king of Persia is not the kind of person to devote themselves to God so openly and be like, I am God's anointed. It's like, no, they had all these other deities, and they're pretty vicious fighters at the time. So yeah, they're civilized people, but they're such vicious fighters that they didn't care about stuff at all, let alone the Most High God. And then they just completely, the king of Persia warmed the heart to God, and he's like, okay, I'm going to have you guys set up temples after your enemies just destroyed you. That was 100% God, and the Bible did say that. So if you look at 2 Chronicles and 2 Kings, God cleaned Israel and Judah like he cleaned the plate because they were being so bad. They were neglecting God so openly and so freely, just how people are in this day and age. I should make this a note. If you're neglecting Jesus in any way, you're screwed. Yes, you're screwed. Basically what's happening is, in the next week to 2 weeks, people are seeing extreme forms of abundance who are children of God. God's full chosen. So I had a prophecy a couple of months ago about people seeing abundance from God, and guess what? I'm going to say right now, the abundance before it was not the abundance. It was less than 10% of what you're going to see coming up. So he was testing his children. Jesus is saying this nice and loud. He doesn't normally talk loud, but he's saying this nice and loud. He was testing his children and people who were talking to him to see their true colors. So about a month and a half ago, I believe, about a month and 2 weeks ago, people were seeing extreme forms of abundance, and they looked towards God, and they said, they pulled Rehoboam's, King Rehoboam's, King Rehoboam's, and I don't know what chapter in the second book of Kings. It was right after chapter 11, 12. It was after 11, 12. That's in Chronicles. Well, his details are in Chronicles, but basically, God's reporting some major abundance to his children who stuck near him. Because guess what? The children who saw abundance, a lot of their abundance left because God used God let a famine happen because so many people were just abusing God. So Jesus had all his children, and all these other people kind of leave him and serve other deities, serve other gods like they did back then. People start worship. They thanked saints. They're like, oh, thank you, Santa Barbara. You helped us 20,000. And he's saying very loudly, yes. Thank you, Saint Jude. You're the one who helped me with this $20,000 check that just came out of nowhere. I'm so grateful. After you were praying to Jesus day and night, crying to him in tears, Jesus, please help me. $20,000 entered your bank account. And you know who I'm talking about. And guess what? It left. So God, and this happened to over a couple thousand people just in the United States. Not even including outside of the United States. So Jesus shut up the abundance, just like how a land becomes dry. So all these children who basically show their true colors with Jesus, and the children, this is kind of messed up, but this is an Achan from Judges. He had one good gold bar, and everyone was punished for it. Now, yeah, everyone was punished for that. Everyone suffered until Achan got killed. So basically, what happened now is a lot of people right now are rebuilding. So it's only like a very small portion. It's a small portion compared to who got abundance before. He was given abundance to all his children. And he saw the ones who stuck towards him, was thankful, was grateful. And then the next part of the prophecy that the Lord revealed is that basically the children who were faithful and who thanked God for the abundance saw the abundance dry up too. But it was just a test to see how faithful they were, because he saw a bunch of people who saw their abundance dry up turn against him, so they don't count in the future of the children who are getting rewarded with the bigger abundance. You saw 10, he's giving 90. So everyone's kind of revealed their true colors by now. In the next week to 2 weeks, his true children, and you might be surprised who is and who is not a part of this. He's still doing tests now, but basically we have final contestants. final contestants. And it's not a contest, but like people who are like, okay, these are my chosen. These ones are the faithful ones. These ones stick to me for better and for worse. And that's how the book of Ezra was. It's rebuilt. It basically, he destroyed Israel. He took that temple and he rebuilt them from scratch, but he rebuilt a legacy that would last a long time. And that's the exact same vibration of what's happening now. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. If you don't have a custom necklace from FloridaStoneman.com, I highly suggest you go to FloridaStoneman.com and get yourself a custom necklace. Am I even allowed to say their physical benefits? And I don't even care. For all the crazy stuff that's happening in the world, I think I'm allowed to because I never got stopped. I normally get like a stop message, like a stop pinch or something, but they have physical benefits that I can't talk about. My Florida Stoneman necklaces will preserve your age like the Chinese wore jade and it preserved their age. Why? It's because they have these EMF towers blasting, and I have certain coding in my necklaces. My necklaces are coded. Here, I'll talk a little more about my necklaces in this video. They are coded. So you have 1, 3, 2, 4. Just like how some Bible chapters are coded in very particular orders, some of the necklaces are coded to the chapters. Just like how the Levites in Exodus 28 wore the gemstones. Same thing applies. So when you wear the custom gemstone necklaces, by frequency, your life gets better. So the minerals in your necklace actually put off a frequency, and they're minerals. They put off a frequency for abundance. So if you haven't seen a blessing you would like to see, wear a custom necklace from my website, and you're going to be doing really well. When I mean really well, I've had how many people in the past month send me testimonies of one person got $200,000 after. Can you believe that? $200,000. $200,000. Because their heart stayed faithful. And I'd like to say their name so badly. I'd like to say their name so badly, but you guys know who that is. I have to, and she said, the angel said her name. I want to say her name so badly. I'm like a silent scream. Victory Screech. Can't yell over here. But everyone in my TikTok lives knows who it is. There's more of you sending me messages like, this is my testimony of how, number one, it's Jesus. And then Jesus uses the gemstones to help certain blessings come through. So kind of like in the Bible, Elisha was being used by God, and God heavily guided King Naaman to go back to the prophet Elijah. And basically he threw a fit because I thought God was supposed to just do everything for me and heal me. And he's like, Elisha's like, no, God said you got to do works. The necklaces is a part of the works. Give all your glory to God, Jesus. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. God bless all of you. Ciao.